This program suggests that when you leave home and go to a new place, you'd better figure out what you'll need to get along there, especially if you're planning to visit the moon.
The following is from NIT, National Instructional Television. Ripples.
When you go to the moon, what will you take along?
When the astronauts go to the moon, what would be some of the things they would have to take with them? Yes. A toothbrush. And toothpaste in order to brush their teeth. And they would have to brush their teeth because they take food with them. And the food that they eat is packed into a container such as this. He would also have to take with him a spacesuit because the spacesuit protects the astronaut from the vacuum of space. There's no air. There's no air in space. He has to take air and oxygen with him. He has to take the spacesuit with him to protect him from the temperature and the cold and the heat. But what does he use to go to the moon?
Rocket.
He uses a rocket, and this is the rockets the astronaut use. And on top of the rocket is a safety rocket and a capsule. Very good. And we use the rocket to take off because the Earth holds us down. And what holds us down here on Earth?
Gravity.
Gravity. If I took this chair and I dropped it, what would happen? It would fall to the Earth due to gravity. And if I held you up and dropped you, you would fall to the Earth just by gravity. Everything would go towards the center of the Earth because of gravity, including our rocket. So we have to use power to take it off into space. And the power we use is the fuel inside our rocket. We've already loaded our rocket with fuel. Now we have to check inside to make sure everything that we have to take on board is on board. So we need a few volunteers to help me with a checklist. Okay? You and you. Now you'll have to get inside our capsule and make sure everything is all right, and you'll stand outside with a checklist. And you help me and make sure that everything that we're supposed to have on board is on board. We ready? Fuel.
Fuel, check.
Cabin pressure.
Cabin pressure, check.
Temperature.
Temperature, check.
Air.
Air, air.
Yes, air is necessary. We have to take air with us in order to breathe. And if we did not have any air, we wouldn't be able to breathe, we wouldn't be able to eat our food, we wouldn't be able to live in space because there isn't any air in space. We have to take it with us. Now, let's put the astronauts on board.
Test telephone switch to arm light on.
Switching command to internal.
Minus 130.
Gearing lock sync. Switching to internal DC power.
Minus 125.
Switching telemetering to lock condition.
Minus 120.
Status check. Command on internal.
We've loaded our capsule with the astronauts. It's filled with fuel. All the equipment's on board. Now we have to start our countdown. So let's count down together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have ignition. We have ignition.
Liftoff. We have liftoff. These are real pictures of a trip to the moon. Liftoff looks good. All systems are go. The big rocket that carries the astronauts to the moon is really 3 rockets in one. Each part is called a stage. In a moment, stage 1 will have used up all its fuel and be cast off into the sea.
And, right, the first stage drops off, the second stage ignites, all that fuel is used up, so what do we do with that? We drop that off, that falls back into the ocean, the third stage ignites, continues on its way to the moon, and then what do we do with that? We drop that off too, and the astronauts continue on their way to the moon.
The astronauts keep in touch with the people back on Earth by radio.
Hello, Apollo. This is Houston. Come in. Can you give us a report on your progress? Oh, there are clouds and
During the long trip to the moon, the space capsule is home to the astronauts. They work there, they sleep there, and they eat there.
I can make out shapes of some of the continents.
What kind of food can you take along in a capsule speeding to the moon?
They don't have any pots and pans to use to cook the food, so the food that they used is called freeze-dried, and it's packed into a container just like this. Now, the first thing that we will do with the food would be to cook it, if we have to, on the ground. And then we freeze it, place it into an oven, and when we place it into the oven, all of the ice and all of the water evaporates. So now the food is very lightweight. The astronaut, when he's ready to eat, cuts open a little seal at the top with a pair of scissors, takes an instrument known as a water gun, and this normally has a long tube attached to a tank of water that's made right on board the capsule. Each time he squeezes the trigger, 1 ounce of water comes out. This valve seals so the water doesn't escape. He turns it upside down and begins squeezing this, begins mixing it for about 2 minutes. Cuts open a seal at the bottom, a little feeding tube is extended, and squeezes the food into his mouth. This happens to be salmon salad. They can have, and I'm sure you can tell me what this is, orange juice, and they can have chicken soup, and they can have little bite-sized things such as strawberry cereal cubes with their breakfast in the morning, or they could have cheese crackers anytime they would like a snack, or they could have probably your favorite sandwich, peanut butter and jelly. That's exactly right. And yet there are 6 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in here. Not just 1, 6. Each one is a bite-sized sandwich. It's very small.
Why is the astronaut floating around like that? It looks funny, doesn't it? He's floating around because in space, he doesn't weigh anything. Not a thing. His flashlight doesn't weigh anything either. Have you ever swung high up on a swing? When you get way back to the point where you are just about ready to come down again, just for a second, you find yourself standing still in midair. For that second, you don't weigh anything either. That's called weightlessness. Imagine that feeling. And you can imagine how the astronauts feel when they have no weight. There is no right side up and no upside down. Do you think it would be fun to live that way?
Sometime during the astronaut's flight, it will become necessary for him to go to the bathroom. And the bathroom that the astronaut uses is this. And if he has to use the bathroom, he opens this up, and there's a little pocket on the side, and takes out this package of blue liquid. He places it inside the plastic container, opens up the container, removes the protective seal, tape around the outside of the container, attaches this to his body. After he's finished using it, he places the toilet tissues inside, seals this to make a watertight seal, punctures the package of blue liquid, and that's a germicide. That prevents odors and bacteria from forming. This is then stored in a metal container inside the capsule and returned to Earth.
There it is, the moon. To land on the moon, the astronauts have to unhook a very special spaceship they have brought with them. It is called the lunar module, or the LEM. One of the three astronauts will stay in the spaceship called the command module, which has brought everybody this far. He will circle the moon many, many times, waiting for his friends to return. The other two astronauts will scramble from the command module into the LEM to go down and land on the moon.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Produced by the Northern Virginia Educational Television Association. Ripples was created by a consortium of 12 educational agencies in association with NIT, National Instructional Television.